and Stephen Mack Middle School faculty that have joined us this evening. The Webster's Dictionary defines the word footprint as the impression left by a foot or shoe on the ground or surface. So today, I ask each of you to think about your own footprint. And not necessarily the one that may read Nike or Adidas or other brand names, but metaphorically, and more importantly, the one that you have left here as a student at Stephen Mack over the past 3 years. How will you be remembered? While getting prepared for this evening, I'm sure many of my fellow classmates began thinking about the path they have taken to get to this graduation ceremony. I remember my first steps into Stephen Mack as a 6th grader. My path was flooded with disorganized papers and notebooks, but at a time, there was a set of footprints beside my own, like we all had, that belonged to the 6th grade teachers. I remember timidly walking the halls, trying to blend in and be a part of the crowd, but belonging to groups like student council and also being a class act recipient helped me step out of my shell. 7th grade came, and our prints were bigger, not just in size, but the amount of them. I was a part of the basketball team, the track team, and really tried something new by joining the cast of the play. I noticed so many of my fellow classmates stepping out of their shells to try something new during the 7th grade year. 8th grade came, and our steps turned into strides, and we began to feel more confident. There was a cleat mark in my path from winning a junior tackle championship, and also marks from being on my knees, praying and giving thanks that I finally aced the test given by Miss Swinson. My steps have changed over the past years, becoming consistent and strong and hopefully impactful. I'm sharing all of this because I want each of us to think about our imperfect paths of the past and apply what we learn as we journey into high school. We have been supported by our parents, our teachers, and one another. But moving on into the next part of our lives, we find ourselves at a place where we decide the direction we take. We can decide to broaden our interests, try new things, make new friends, apply ourselves in the classroom, and work to achieve future goals. Or you can choose to sit back, relax, take the easy road, and simply try to blend in. But I challenge each of you to be filled with the courage it takes to step up, step forward, and leap into high school knowing that what you do will be remembered. Now again, congratulations 2013 graduates, and welcome family, faculty, and of course, my fellow students. But before we begin this ceremony, I would like to leave you with this final quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You don't have to see the whole journey, you just have to take the first step. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan Powder. Every day, just like most of us, I wake up and I get a ride to school. When my dad and I arrive at school, and I'm exiting the vehicle, he gives me the same goodbye speech as he does every other time that I get a ride from him. He calls it B. That's it. B. That's what he calls it. Just 2 little letters that, when put together, create something that means much more. Sometimes it gives me a way to keep my chin up. And I would like to recite that speech that he gives me every single time I get out of the car in the morning. B. Be good, behave, be bold, be brave. Be kind, be humble. Be smart, be confident. Be daring, be caring. Be beautiful, be wonderful. Be encouraging, but most of all, be yourselves. Now to me, be good and behave seems like a relatively simple thing to do. But to be bold and to be brave is something different. Anyone can be out there. But when I say bold, that is what you have to do when you're trying to defeat, Being bold is going against the status quo when it tries to defeat what you know is right. And being brave is sticking up for what you know is true. When we enter Hanmiga in the fall, it's going to be even more of a challenge with all the cliques and the drama that high school involves. Now, the thing that makes this phrase stand out is be yourself. As we make the transition from warriors to Indians, I know how easy it can be to lose who we are by trying to be the next valedictorian, the football star, or the next Sheldon Cooper. But in the long run, does it really matter if we lose who we are? So, I challenge you, not as the guy giving his speech, but from one student to another. Stick to your morals. And I'd like to leave you with one last thought. Be good, behave, be bold, be brave, but most of all, be yourself.
Also like to extend a welcome to our family and guests to this dignified event. As we introduce each student alphabetically, I ask that all applause be held until the last name of the student in that row is read. This will ensure that all students' names will be heard and recognized. Now, it is a true privilege and honor to introduce the graduates of Stephen Mack Middle School. Serenity Rose Marie Boss. Michael Patrick Avenatti. Hannah Faith Aarons. Emery Patricia Alt. Kirsten Brianne Anderson. Benjamin Santos Ariano. Abigail Grace Austin. Ian Hunter Baker.
Yeah, Ian.
Maximilian Neil Melandis. And Kylie Reese Bree.
Ethan Scott Brown. David Michael Buckner. Kane